I'm George Howell with the headlines we're following for you this hour. First, in northern Syria, Kurdish officials say the Syrian government will deploy troops along the Turkish border to help repel the offensive by Turkey. Some troops are already moving north, according to Syrian state media. Syria's government has not said whether this is part of any sort of a deal with the Kurds. Turkey launched its offensive after the U.S. pulled troops out of Syria last week. Now, the U.S. Defense Secretary says President Trump is ordering the remaining U.S. forces out of northern Syria. Pro-Turkish forces have already cut off a key road leading to Kobani, a largely Kurdish city where U.S. troops have been based. Let's get the latest now live from the region. CNN's Jumana Karaca is on this story live in Istanbul, Turkey. And Jumana, look, we've already seen the Kurds under a great deal of pressure from this offensive, and even U.S. forces feeling some of the burn, some of the heat as they withdraw from that region.
Absolutely. I mean, George, if you look at the developments over the past 24 hours, really rapid and serious developments in that part of Syria. Of course, the most significant we're hearing overnight, not just the announcement that President Trump is ordering the withdrawal of U.S. forces or remains of U.S. forces in northern Syria, but you've got this announcement that shouldn't come as a surprise. We've heard the Kurds hinting at this for some time now, but they say that they have reached an agreement with the Syrian regime for the Syrian military to deploy along the border with Turkey. They say that they have requested the regime's assistance to help them with repel what they say is the Turkish aggression. They say it is the Syrian government's duty to protect the country's borders and to maintain its sovereignty. Now, we don't know the details of this agreement, George. There's a lot of questions about this and what it actually entails. This came in a statement that was posted by the Kurdish authorities that run that part of the country on their Facebook page last night. We've not had confirmation from Damascus yet that this is happening. We've not had any official reaction from Turkey to this announcement. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But as you mentioned, Syrian state media is saying that the Syrian military was moving towards the northern part of the country. So quite a critical time right now. We'll have to wait and see what comes in the next few hours and days as this situation develops. But if you look at these developments, George, you're looking at basically the United States here just pulling out and handing over this region and whatever leverage and control it had at one point, basically to the Syrian regime and, of course, to their main backer, the Russians.
Jumana, important to remind our viewers, the context here is so important that the Kurds, many of them fought alongside U.S. troops in the fight against ISIS, the defeat of ISIS. And now we understand that many of those ISIS prisoners, many of the people who had ties to those ISIS prisoners, hundreds of them, in fact, are on the run.
It's quite a chaotic situation, as you can imagine, in that part of the country. Now, the Syrian Democratic Forces, that mainly Kurdish force that is backed by the United States, as you mentioned, they were the key and main partner in the fight against ISIS and the territorial defeat of the group in Syria. Now, they say, and they have been warning for days, that while they face this operation, this what they call this Turkish aggression and invasion, they're not going to be able to focus on the fight against ISIS. Concerns about the resurgence, sleeper cells that could take advantage of the vacuum and the chaotic situation. And on the other hand, they're also concerned about the situation when it comes to ISIS detainees. They have about 12,000 ISIS detainees, about 10,000 Iraqis and Syrians, about 2,000 from 50 different countries who are in their detention facilities. And then you've got three camps many of the family members or people who lived under the control of ISIS are housed in these 3 different camps. Now, we saw these reports yesterday, the Syrian Democratic Forces saying that because of the Turkish operation and the chaotic situation, they say that a number of these ISIS families, they say in the hundreds, more than 700, I believe the number was, managed to escape from the Ain Isa internally displaced people's camp in northern Syria. We've heard from the United Nations since, George, they're saying that the population of that camp is about 13,000 people, and they say the majority still remain there, but the Kurds are warning that they say hundreds affiliated with ISIS have managed to escape from that camp.
Wow. Jumana Karaja with the reporting. Jumana, thank you. Now to the United Kingdom,